Plato said this. He said that the necessity is the mother of invention. Um, in life, it could be that it's not simple enough to pursue what you want to. And it also can be the case that to do what you want to do is a luxury. It could be a luxury under certain condition. But to do what you need to do is an obligation to be pursued. And it's also at the point of a total necessity that you are unleashing your highest potential. At the point of the total necessity that you get to know this potential for yourself and the fullest capacity you're capable of. In general, we also too can realize that we have to attain what is necessary first because there are kinds of things that are necessary in comparison to the things of a secondary value. They are the necessities and needs to address that can't be overlooked, which are perhaps not so easily recognizable as the necessities of our body as food, water, perhaps security, shelter, and uh, that which would sustain our and maintain our health. They are other necessities that are not so obvious and clear to us, but that are also absolutely uh, necessary for us because in because of the uh, significance they oppose to our life and perhaps even daily routine, how greatly they affect us. And again, they might be not so obvious to us, but unless we would um, cancel them from our life, unless we would lack them, uh, we could struggle to recognize them, especially to recognize them for what they are. And I think also the reason why we um, find those necessities in the first place, why we put the sorts of have tos, is because we are greatly limited in our lives. And uh, our lives are tightened to uh, certain things, which are not easily given to us, that should be pursued for us to maintain our lives and for us to strive. And the good way to ensure it is also to uh, identify what not only maintains our lives but also ensures our survival. So it is that which we have to look for, which we are dependent on in the first place. Because when you realize your limitation and limited resources of your time, your energy, limited resources of your life, and your own character, you know that you can be wasteful. On the opposite, you have to be highly selective, and you have got things to do because exactly for the reason that you have these limitations to cover, you have these needs to address, and you can always allow yourself to um, pursue things that are secondary for you. And oftentimes, when you do it, you do it at the cost for pursuing the things of primary importance to you. When you pursue your wants and desires, you oftentimes can pursue them overlooking your deepest needs without completely realizing it, but also suffering for it because there is a reason for which they would be called needs. So Plato said this. He said that necessity is a mother of invention. And I want to open up this quote and meaning of it because I strongly believe that we fight differently when we have to preserve our life or the lives of people whom we love. And also when we are at the age of um, this scenario, at the age of our lives, when we have uh, to do that because we have been pressed to the corner and we have no other alternative but to choose the correct action which would maintain our lives. Then there is absolutely another uh, strive that we have that incomparingly higher than that which we would have if we would merely fight someone else's battle, if we would, and the kind of battle which would not put something important at stake, our needs at stake. So essentially, you want to fight the kind of battle which would include your most vital needs, because then it could be considered as significant and important and worthy to be fought, worthy to be worthy to sacrifice to. And this is also one of the definitions of need is your capacity to overcome the challenges required to attain the needed object. So, or maybe not the definition, but the way you can measure it. You can measure and know exactly how much someone needs something by what he is ready to sacrifice to obtain it, by what he's ready to, um, and by how much he's ready to be resilient to obtain it. How uh, much he can put forward to get what he needs. And that's how you know that he needs it because he uh, main main he manifests his capacity to do great sacrifices for this. And to bring something new forward is uh, would always require some sacrifices and efforts to be to be put in, because otherwise it would be much easier to get it. It would be much easier to generate an innovation, unless the innovation would require an increased cost and effort, and also time, including so higher resources. But if you don't absolutely need it, why would you sacrifice for it? And why would you pay with all that kind of resources if it would not impact greatly your life? And this also teaches us that uh, if that what we truly need could bring our uh, best for forward, then we the most efficient way to growth and to self realization is to look for that what we need. But how would you know what you exactly what you need if uh, how would you acquire any new knowledge which would help you to know more about what you need? Would you need to look at yourself? Would you need to try to kind of uh, make sense of things you can't do without? Or would you look for the things that not only make your life, or not only sustain your life, but also, or make your life worse once you get rid of them, but also things that bring a positive change in your life? Of course, it could be the same kind of things. Could be the same kind of things. Perhaps you could make a case that if you need a positive change or direction in your life, then you that things that which bring it are your necessities, or that things on which uh, that positive change is dependent on are your necessities. Fair enough, the example can be a vision, a developed vision, right? And if your life direction, your life quality depends on a developed vision, your well being and your striving forward depends on a developed vision, then in which sense is it not a necessity for you? Because it's not only, perhaps maybe it does not maintain your current state, but it is could be efficient to bring you forward. And you also can build a case that an efficient vision would be there for your direction, but also be there to provide for your present. The kind of vision you need a sense of that would give you this sense to strive forward. And if you need to strive forward, uh, and this exactly what allows you for a positive strive forward instead of negative strive forward, in which sense would it not be your necessity? Because it would also be there for your present in the same manner it would be there for your future. And your present and fate of your present and future would also be dependent. So it might as well be your necessity. So there are things that are not so obvious, but that influence our lives daily, that are always present, but we fail to be aware of them and take them into the consideration. This is why people would say, but also the things you need to know, because necessities should be addressed first. And navigation in life is also a matter of defining a right priorities, figuring out would and if would be selected would bring positive changes to you, the kind of changes that you would like to have. Plato answered to this. He said that necessity is the mother of invention. Any positive change, a new positive generated change, perhaps. Necessity is the mother of invention, and the lesson we are dependent on